Assalamualaikum and very good day to all my student thinking skill UUW 322. Okay, now we in the chapter 4. Chapter 4. The title is logic thinking. So in this chapter we will talk about the logic. Okay, what kind of logic? What is the logic? That is all the questions inside our mind right now. Okay, so we go straight to the point. Okay, who define the study of philosophy and logic? Okay, siapa yang menentukan falsafah, kajian falsafah dan juga logik ini? Okay, in this chapter we will talk about 3 person who have involved to define about the logic, and at the same time is the falsafah or philosophy research. Okay, these 3 men we call them is the Socrates, Plato and Aristotle. Okay, these 3 philosophers form the basis of what is known as Western philosophy. Okay, that means they all is come from the West. So they build the what we call is Western philosophy. Okay, every thinker and scientist that follow use their maths. Okay, a lot of people right now, okay, until right now still follow what they say about in the philosophy or the logic. Okay, this include scientists, even social sciences or humanities whatsoever. They still follow this how they're thinking. Okay, we go to the Socrates first. Okay, this is the background of the Socrates. Just a simple what we call just a simple background of Socrates. So for the all student, if you want to know a lot of Socrates, you can add more reading on at the what we call books or article. Yeah, you can search in the Google, maybe in the library. Okay, and whatsoever. So Socrates, okay, he was developer the Socratic method. Okay, he is the people who was create or develop what we call is Socratic method. What is Socratic method? Socratic method is a series of questions are used to examine beliefs and develops idea. Okay, this is what in the Socratic method. Okay, he say the unexamined life is not worth living. Okay, that means if our life there is no what we call is exam, there is no evaluation in our life, that means for him our life is useless or our life is not worth at all. Okay, so that means as a student, how to recognize you is able in your studies. So we must have an exam. Okay, we must have some evaluation. Okay, that's why from secondary school, okay, primary school until in university, we still use the type of learning. We need the evaluation or exam. Okay, questions. Okay, what do you think that I asked the question? Why was the questions important? Which of your questions turn out to be the most useful? Okay, this is big questions that you must think and you have to answer it by yourself. Okay, next, there is only one good knowledge and one evil ignorance. Okay, this is what we call the philosophy on the Socrates. Okay, what I read now is the philosophy of Socrates. Okay, next, know yourself. ataupun kenali diri anda. Okay, was executed in Athens after being convicted of corrupting the youth with his idea. Okay, he was being convicted by the what we call is government at the time in the Athens, because they believe that idea come from Socrates was destroy or make some trouble to the youth at the time. Okay, but you believe until now we still read about the Socrates philosophy. So maybe that time the people cannot accept it about the theory, about the thinker, about the anything from Socrates, but now the society, the nation believe that is one of the big knowledge. Okay, it's enough for Socrates. So just a simple, then you must remember that about the Socrates, it's a lot. Okay, that's a lot, but you can add more knowledge about Socrates. We've added the read about Socrates. Okay, now we go to the Plato. Yeah, he was Socrates' brilliant student. Okay, he was Socrates' brilliant student. That means Plato was learn something and or what we call study as a student to the Socrates. Okay, and he was the what we call very clever or brilliant student at the time. Okay, to the Socrates. He traveled a lot extensively before return to teach at the academic. Okay, this is story about him. Okay, Allegory of the cave. The real world is only of reflection of the truth of a higher reality. Okay, this is what he think about the what we call Allegory cave. Okay, he believed that the perfect political system would feature philosopher kings as it rules people versed in ethic and who truly love only one thing, that called what is truth and knowledge. Okay, this is what his belief about the what we call political. Why Plato still interest with the political, the politic? Okay, for your information, my student, at that time, for example, Plato, Socrates, there's no what we call, they have a lot of knowledge, maybe 3 or 5 or 7 knowledge about the different path. For example, maybe from economy, maybe from politics, maybe from also with philosophy, maybe of the thinker. So there's a lot of knowledge of them. Okay, not just like us. Okay, now we just learn about the engineering. So for example, electric engineering, so we just learn about electric engineering. But for them, the additional knowledge is important to know everything, a lot of knowledge in this world. For example, you have astronomy, you have mathematical knowledge, you have philosophy, you have there's a lot of program or knowledge at that time. Okay, so for him, his belief that political it's not proper if that system was created by the people who have no really have a knowledge or idea about it. Okay, samalah seperti kita sekarang, kalau kita tidak ada ilmu tentang satu benda tu, bagaimana kita nak bercakap tentang perkara tersebut? Okay, we go to the Aristotle. Aristotle is a Plato student. Okay, Plato student. That means they take a knowledge from another person to the next person at the time. Okay, so that means that knowledge it's sharing by person who have a big credibility in one issues to the next, the big what we call is actor on the philosophy. Okay, Aristotle studies almost every single topic from anatomy to economy, geography, physics, politics, psychology, religion, and even poetry. Okay, this is what just I'm saying just now about every single person. They have a lot of interest to learn more than even one knowledge. Okay, so for example, Aristotle have around 6 or 7 knowledge, but this is knowledge not just just a normal knowledge maybe, but they are deeply learn about it and become specialists in this every single topic. So this is very hard maybe for us until now. For example, I'm learn about psychology and counseling, but if I want to add more knowledge under discipline of studies, maybe I have to spend more 5 or 7 years again, or I make twice, I make double, I learn double of discipline is different. Maybe it's too tired for me. Okay, so but at the time for them, they learn until they're old. Okay, until they're old. Okay, he founded his own school after leaving the academy, and his center of knowledge become known as the Lyceum. Okay, Lyceum is the name of what we call is the center who was created by him. Okay, the name is Lyceum. Okay, he was Alexander the Great personal teacher. Okay, this is one of the big history about him. Okay, and we continue. Aristotle is developer a vast system of rule for logical thinking and define the world. Okay, much like a game has rules, so it's too much logic. Okay, for example, syllogism define if A equals B and B equals C, that means A is equal with C. This is what define of syllogism that created by Aristotle. Okay, if I set fire on the piece of paper, okay, that is the cause. Okay, the punca ataupun penyebab, then it will burn. Then that is what we call is effect. This is what is causality. Okay, and scientific method. Okay, scientific method also created by him. Observe and take a note first. Second, make a theory. Then third, test and theory. Test that theory. Okay, this is same what we do just now in our life, especially in final year project FYP. Okay, in FYP, in masters, or you doing in PhD, you have to observe, take a note. Okay, maybe you have to make some theory or take other theory, then test that theory with what you find. Okay, scientific method. Okay, this is what we call scientific method. What is logic? After we listen about three person who have involved with this topic, so now the big question is, what is logic? Logic is the study of the rules for correct or valid or reasoning. Okay, that's very straightforward. Okay, it is about argumentative that we do to find support our reasoning. Okay, involve the deduction and induction process of reasoning. Okay, what is deduction? What is induction? Okay, this is your duty. You have to see what the definition of deduction and induction. Okay, so make some research, not just spoon feeding. Logic is happening in our daily life. Every day we use logic thinking. Logic analysis is a process that comes naturally to the human mind. Process where we are more familiar than we realize. Okay? That means the logic same important with what we call in our life. Okay? Sama penting dengan apa yang kita lakukan setiap hari, dan itu adalah logik. Induction. Okay. Induction. This is what we call induction reasoning. Reasoning that typically move from scientific example to a large general conclusion. Okay? Start with your own experience and the generalized rules. If the premise are true, it is possibility that conclusion is false. Okay? I repeat, if the premise are true, it is possible. If the premise are true, it is probably that the conclusion is false. Okay? For example, Tony dog bark when see the people. Okay? Tony dog bark when they see a people. Okay? So, the conclusion, all the dog will bark when see the people. Okay. So, that is true or not? Okay. Example number 2. Last few times I cut my hair, it's grow back. Then, after this, when I cut my hair, it will always grow back. Okay. That is true or not? Yeah. Maybe sometimes you say the example number 1, it's true, maybe not true. Yeah, not all the dog will bark when see the people. Not all the dog, okay? But all the people, when they cut their hair, then that hair will come back, grow as normal hair, okay? So, different example and different, what we call, different answer. So, how about deduction? Deduction reasoning, okay? Reasoning that move from the general to the specific, from general to specific. Okay, it is a form of inferences where if the premise are true, then conclusion must be true. It's different with the deduction. Sometimes for deduction, sometimes the reasoning is true, then the effect also is true, but sometimes that's not true. But for deduction, it must be true. Okay? Start with the rule and then apply it to the new situation. Okay? For example, all humans have 2 legs. Okay? Setiap manusia ada 2 kaki. So, I am a human. Okay? Minor premise. The first one is major premise. Okay, so that means I have two legs. Okay, that is example number 1. And you cannot say that human have only 1 leg. From this statement will show that every single human in this world will have two legs. Example number 2. The law of gravity said that what goes up must come down. So I bet if I throw this ball up, it will fall back down. Okay, this is about the gravity. Whatever you throw up, your pen, your handphone, and whatever your table, you take and you throw up, that thing will fall down. And the answer must be true. Then these 2 examples have same answer that we call is a true. Okay, we go to the next. Okay, deduction is the logical process of arriving at the conclusion based on premise you know to be true. Okay, that is the deduction. And for the induction is the logical process of arriving at the conclusion based on premise you assume to be true, but sometimes not true. Okay. Okay, test your logic. This is the picture of toys, bus toys. Okay. Which way the bus is going? Left or right? Okay. We use the induction test. Induction test, we must have sometimes right or wrong, or what? Real or not real. So that means that bus in the deduction say can be left and can be right. But for deduction, we have to remember if this bus, the driver stay in the right, so that means this bus will go of the right. If they still in the left, so the driver, so that means that bus must go to the left, not the right. So only one right for deduction, and for induction we have two choice. We go to the next slide. We talk about the assumptions. So what is the unstated assumptions? Analyze the assumption behind every idea. Okay, this is the what we call example about the assumption. I feel that course because the instruction didn't like me. Okay, this is what the student say. So the assumption, the instructor fails the student, he doesn't like who he doesn't like. Okay, so that is the assumption. Next example, I'm not surprised he made the team. After all, his father the superintendent of school. Okay, so assumption, assume what? The superintendent give special favor to his family. This is the assume. Okay, so same like you as a student. Okay, maybe you can say, I fail in my engineering subject because of the pandemic, COVID-19. So your assumption what? So your assumption, because of the COVID-19, every single student will fail of the subject engineering. That is the assumption. If I did only take my boss to the lunch more often, I could haven't gotten the rice. Assumption, the boss deny rice the people who don't take him to the lunch very often. Okay, maksudnya kalau kita selalu belanja bos kita makan, nanti kita akan dinaikkan pangkat. Jadi kamu punya anggapan, bos hanya akan naikkan pangkat orang yang bawa dia pergi makan setiap masa, setiap hari. So itu adalah yang dipanggil andaian, ataupun dalam bahasa Inggrisnya assumption. Next, so now we talk about the syllogism. Okay, how to say, it's very complicated name. Okay, a specific method of logical deduction, move from the general to the particular. Okay, every syllogism contains at least 3 parts. Okay, every single syllogism have three parts at least. Okay, then can be more. Okay, so first, a major premise, what we call is a global assumption. Okay, number 2, a minor premise, specific claim. Okay, number 3, a conclusion. Okay, maybe you have conclusion 1, conclusion 2, conclusion 3, but for this example I give only one, a conclusion, a statement that follow logical from the consistence with both of major and minor premise. Okay, for example, it's kind of like simple maths. Okay, if A equals B, then B equals C, so that means A and C is same. Okay, this is what in the syllogism context, or what we call syllogism concept. Okay, so how about the another what we call example? You can maybe you can think more. Okay, so this is one of the, I think it's good for you to see then listen about it. All men are mortal. Scrotus is a man, therefore Scrotus is a mortal. All men is a human. That means, okay, all men is a humans. Then Scrotus is a man, therefore Scrotus is a human. Okay, Same like A, B, and C just now. Okay. 1 ringgit will buy 3 candy bar. Okay. I have 1 ringgit. So that means I can buy only 3 candy bar. Okay. Then next, all car needs gasoline to run. Okay. I have a car. So therefore, my car needs a gasoline to run. Okay. Just a simple. Okay. So how about this? Okay. All people are bad driver. Abu is an old person. So Abu is a bad driver. Is it true or wrong? So it is true about is a bad driver. It is true Abu is a bad driver. So valid agreement, but not true. Okay, the agreement is valid but not true, because not every single person who is old is a bad driver. So Abu can be a bad, maybe can be not bad. Okay, not a bad person in the road. Okay, so this is what we call induction style. Sometimes true, sometimes not. Okay. Okay, we see the next slide. True versus valid agreement. Okay, true versus valid agreements. True arguments, an agreement with a conclusion that is considered factually correct. Okay, valid, an agreement with a conclusion that makes sense logically, regardless of whether it is true or not. Okay, this is the difference about the true agreement, valid agreement. Sometimes I will put this in quiz, so beware. Okay, this is true, valid, or both. Okay, all fruit have seeds. Okay, semua buah mempunyai biji. Tomato have a seed. Okay, so therefore a tomato is a fruit. Okay, this is valid, this is true, so this is what we call scientifically this is valid and true. Okay, so how about still same? The example is no human being is immortal. Okay, ghosts are not human being. Okay, therefore ghosts are immortal. Okay, dia kata semua manusia boleh hidup abadi. Okay, dia kata tiada manusia yang boleh hidup abadi. Maka hantu bukan manusia. Oleh itu, hantu adalah hidup abadi. So bagaimana nak kata? So this is yang kita kata faulty logic, because this syllogism assume anything not human immortally. However, according to the same people believe this is a true statement, so this is an invalid agreement but true conclusion. Invalid agreement but true conclusion. Okay, the conclusion is true but the agreement is invalid. Okay, I hope you understand. Next, and all with a plant. Okay, all with a plant. A flower is a plant. Therefore, all with a flower. Okay, that is true and valid, but the conclusion is not true. Okay, the conclusion is doesn't not logically follow as a necessary consequence. Therefore, this agreement is invalid. Okay, this agreement is invalid. So we go to the last in this topic, title in this topic, what we call is a fallacy. Okay, fallacy. What is fallacy? Fallacy is a error in reasoning and differ with factual error. Okay, fallacy is an agreement in which that premise give for the conclusion do not provide the needs degree of support. Okay, misconceptions resulting from incorrect reasoning is argumentation. Okay, fallacies, a statement that might sound reasonable or superficially true but actually flawed or dishonest. Okay, that all is straightforward statement. Then we go to the next slide. Personal attack. Okay, what is personal attack? Attacking of praising the people who make an agreement rather than discussing the agreement itself. Okay, dia tak boleh nak lawan, dia kata kawan tu, dia kutuk orang tu secara pribadi, tapi bukan daripada benda yang dibincangkan. Okay, that is what we call is a personal attack. Personal character of an individual is logically irrelevant to the truth or fairness of the agreement. Okay, abusive, the perceptions come from irrational psychological transference rather than from an appeal to evidence of logic concern that issue and at hand. Okay, next, circumstantial, to argue that the opponent should accept an agreement because of circumstances in his or her life. Okay, this is all about what we call fallacy, but in the personal attack type. Okay, type of personal attacks. Okay, we have three types. First one is ad hominem, appeal to force. Okay, and poisoning the wall. Okay, we go for the first, attacking the individual instead of the agreement. Okay, this is a ad hominem. The example in this type is, sometimes the people will say, you are so stupid, your agreement could possible to be true. It figured that you could possibly get it right, so I ignore your comment. Okay, this is the type of people will attack the person but not the discussion at the time. Okay, is attack that individual, maybe from his physically, that maybe he can say, are you are fat, are you are black, okay, are you are short, okay, that sometimes they will say, you are stupid. They will attack what we call is personally of the person, especially about the behavior, about the physically, about the knowledge. Okay, these three items always can be attacked. So the next one is appeal to force. Okay, telling the hearer that something bad will happen to him if he does not accept the agreement. Okay, this is just like what we call you force them, you force someone to follow you, to accept you. Okay, example, if you don't want to get beaten up, you will agree with what I say. Give it or die. Okay, this is the dialogue who wants to be fight. Okay, kalau kau tak mau bagi ni, aku tumbuk muka kau, dia kata. Aku tumbuk muka kau sana. Baik, kau jawab. Kau mau jawab kah atau tidak? Dia begitulah. Okay, that sounds just like that. Okay, sometimes the people, they what we call lose their mind, then finally they follow what we just like force. Okay, and the last one is poisoning the wall. Poisoning the wall is present negative information about the person before she or he speaks, so as to discredit to the person agreement. Okay, example, Frank is arrogant and thinks he knows everything. So let's hear what Frank has to say about the subject. Don't listen to him because he is a loser. Okay? Ini senang cakap, kata-kata yang dipanggil fitnah ataupun mengata daripada belakang. Macik-macik bawang lah ni, macik-macik bawang, pacik-pacik bawang. Okay? Alah, jangan dengar dia tu tipu saja. Ini yang dipanggil poisoning the wall. This three type is very important for the fallacy because always come to the pop quiz or the quiz every single semester. Okay? And we go to the next slide. This is what we call is appeal to pity. Okay? Urging the hearing to accept the agreement based upon on appeal to emotions, sympathy, or etc. Okay? For example, oh come on, I've been sick. That's why I missed the deadline. Okay? Doktor, tolonglah doktor. Saya sakit sebenarnya. Itu pasal saya tak sempat nak hantar assignment. Ini kata-kata yang bersifat simpati. Okay? Melibatkan rayuan, minta belas kasihan. Okay? Nanti, every single semester, I will find the person just like this. Okay? Every sem, almost 5 until 10%. They have a lot of sad story they will show or they will share with me. Then after that they think I can give a sympathy, then I give the best mark for them. But for me, that all is the what we call is a drama. Okay? Saya susah nak percaya orang sangat. Okay? Next, genetically fallacy. Genetic fallacy. The genetic fallacy is the claim that an idea, product, or person must be untrustworthy because of its racial, geographic, or ethnic origin. Attempting to endorse or disqualify of claim because of the origin or irrelevant history of the claim. For example, Frank just got out of the jail last year. Since it was his idea to start the hardware store, I can trust him. Okay, this is about the genetic here is not about genetic like what you think. Okay, genetic here may be about the situations, about the place, about the race, about the religion maybe, about the pattern of people. Okay, this is what we call all is genetic fallacy. For example, you want to sell something, but you are Malay, then you want to sell in the Africa. And a lot of African people maybe don't trust you because your face is not like a citizen at the Africa. So for them, maybe it's not worth it to buy from you. So they will more trust the people who looks like them. For example, maybe about the skin, same color of skin, same racial, same geographic history, same with them. Okay, so they will trust. So just same like this example, Frank, because of he was in the jail before this, so the people doesn't trust him anymore. Because why? Because history about his life, he's make something fall. Then he was in the jail. Okay, this is what we call genetic fallacy. Appeal to the popular, agreement at popular. Okay, agreeing that hearing to accept a position because a majority of the people hold to it. Okay, example, the majority of people like soda, so that means soda is good. Is it right? Yeah, maybe soda is right for the good for some people, but not all the people will like it. Then the people use this statement to increase popularity for the other product. Okay, for example, everybody like use the Samsung phone. Okay, Samsung phone. So that means every people will like to use a Samsung phone. Is it right or not? But this is what we call is appeal to the popular. Okay, and the next is a bandwagon approach. Everybody is doing it. Majority of people believe an agreement or choices of particularly course of action to the agreement must be true, or the course of action must be followed, or the decision must be the best choice. Okay, this is what bandwagon approach. Okay, that is straightforward. I go to the next. Okay, patriotic approach, draping oneself in the flag. Okay, this agreement asserts that the certain stance is true or correct because it is somehow patriotic, and that those who disagree and unpatriotic. Okay, this is one of the type of fallacy also. And the next is a snob approach. Okay, all the best people are doing it. Okay, this is the big statement of the snob approach, attempting to provide a conclusion by appealing to what a elite or the selected or select few, but not necessarily an authority in a society think or believe. Okay, also the straightforward statement, then you can think by yourself about this sentence. So we already finished for this week. So thank you very much and have a nice day. See you the next lecture. Thank you.